Well, hello there. Welcome to Family Education Weekend PreEvent Podcast. Boy, it is so exciting to see you. My name is Jonathan James, and I'm your host here from Hope Charities for this PreEvent podcast for our Family Education Weekend that's coming up right around the corner. If you haven't heard about this event that we're doing, it's a live event online that you get to participate in called Family Education Weekend for people living with bleeding and clotting disorders that need support and want to learn more about their bleeding disorder and grow in connection with others. And you can register for this free event. It's going to be a fantastic time. It's right there on our website at hope-charities.org, and you can register for the free event. We're doing tons of giveaways. There's a bunch of breakout sessions that you can find. You can come to the whole event, or you can just come to one session. You don't have to do all of them, but there's only one registration, so it's super easy. Just takes a few minutes to go in there, put your information in. We'll send you all the information that you need in order to be able to jump in wherever you can from your computer, your tablet, or your phone. We are, like I said, doing a lot of giveaways. There's obviously giveaways in every single breakout session, but one thing I did want to tell you about too, we're doing three grand prize giveaways each day that you participate. So if you're able to participate in a few different sessions, you will be enrolled in an opportunity to win a couple of great grand prizes. One of them is a $500 gift card, and I think we're even doing a set of VR goggles that's a lot of fun for the kids to play games on, and for the whole family. So that'll be a lot of fun, and we want to see you there. And so jump on the website and get registered right now. And if you have any questions, you can always email us at events@hope-charities.org. But again, I am so excited about this event coming up, and I have a lot of great guests who are going to be joining me. And today, just for a few minutes, I wanted to jump in here to a conversation with a good friend of mine, Gilbert Russell from ASAP Pharmacy. And Gilbert, it is
Hey,
great to see you. Thanks so much for
always,
joining me for this pre-event podcast. Great to see you.
always, Jonathan. Anytime. I'm so such a fan of what Hope has done. I've been around long enough to see how Hope has grown and
Yeah.
become this viable concern in the community that does above and beyond what people could ever ask or think. And I know what drives that. Um,
Mm.
I'm a huge fan, and if you ask me to jump through a hoop, I would. So anytime I can hang out, I will. Thanks
Well,
for
you
having
know,
me.
it's better when we're in the same room physically, and I know we're a
Yes.
couple thousand miles apart, but boy, it is great to be able to have
Oh,
these moments online. One of the things I think has been a huge benefit over the last few years, just dealing with, the pandemic and really forcing us to not be able to travel as much as the way we used to in the community. It has really, in some ways, been good because we get to connect like this probably in some ways more often. I see you 4 or 5 times a year instead of just seeing you just the one or
absolutely.
two. So, but Gilbert, you've been around the community for a long time. You have been invested in, obviously, you were really on the ground floor of helping Hope become what it is today in the early days. And so, I know that you have really a deep heart for the community. You also work in the industry within the specialty pharmacy industry. But, people that might be tuning in right now, this is the first time that they've gotten to see you. They don't know
Yeah.
who you are. Just tell us a little bit briefly about who you are, where you're from, and how you're connected to the community.
Okay. My name's Gilbert Russell. I'm the director of business development and patient care with ASAP Pharmacy, a specialty advocate pharmacy where we always say a prayer for you. I've been doing this particular job in June the 14th this year will be my 18th year. And so I feel so at home that I don't even want to leave half the time. I just believe I'm just supposed to stay here and then just go off and go be with Jesus, I guess. But I have to tell you that these education weekends have really been the foundation that has kept me here, because
Mm,
I don't come claiming that I know what's going on. I don't. Families have been the ones that have educated me and have really helped ASAP become who they are, rather than being so local. We know that it revolves around care. It revolves around value. It revolves around a community. And so
mm,
we bought into this whole idea that while we have not been called to serve everybody, that there are those families that require a level of care that's unique. And
Mm-hmm.
so we want to come alongside, we want to stand alongside of them, we want to work alongside of them, we want to support, we want to advocate, we want to educate, equip, and empower them to live a fuller quality of life beyond a prescription.
That's
And
so
so how do
good.
we do that? The only way that we can do that is to really be willing to be vulnerable, uh,
Mm.
to build trust, and then allow them to help us to help them. Uh,
Mm.
we become all things to all people. If
One
that's
of the
what,
things one of the things I love about you too so much is that when people call you, they get you.
yeah,
They're not calling some 800 number and
yeah,
getting, and so I would
yeah,
add to that list that you listed there of all those things. I would even add accessibility is important.
sure.
And you live that. You're probably one of the most accessible people that I know
Yeah, yeah,
that are available to folks day in and day out, no matter what time of day it is. And so
yeah.
I just, man, I have so much respect for what you do and the very, very, very critical role that you play in the community,
I thank
and
you.
how many people you serve that just no one ever sees. I mean, I know the individuals who've been touched by the work that you do are forever changed. But man, if everybody could see what you've really sacrificed and given to help so many people day in and day out, and in the mundane, and when it's seen and when it's not seen, it's incredible. And so, Gilbert, I
Yeah,
consider it a privilege to even
thank
know
you.
you as my friend, and but to watch you do what you do, the substance behind the words that you just said of how much you care and you want to empower and advocate for people is truly amazing. So thank you for
I
what you
tell you,
do.
one thing that I learned coming into this is that the community and family kind of run together.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
that family is comprised of those that have been are like the ones you've been born with.
Mm-hmm.
Community are like those that have been grafted, or you've been grafted into theirs, and you share everything. There are things about life
Mm-hmm.
that you share in common, and so as a result, you take the opportunities to get together to find out ways in which you can help. There are things that they have that you don't have, and so you learn to share those things with one another.
Mm-hmm.
I learned very,
Mm-hmm.
very early on, and some of this is just a reflection of my faith, that it's so important for you to know that you're valued. I value any person that I meet. I have a
Mm-hmm.
desire in life. I have a desire in life to meet all 7.9 billion people that are on this planet. Now, is that possible? No, but with Facebook, I might get close. Facebook, I might have, I'm working on it. But to meet someone new every day is a gift. Okay, and then how can I serve them? What can I do? What about my life can I give to them? And vice versa, what can they give to me? So we learned very,
Yeah.
very early on as a company that it was very, very important that we serve.
Yeah.
I come into this community as a servant. I don't come as
Yeah.
a solicitor or any of that,
Yeah.
because
There's
my
something
yeah,
it's something really beautiful about what you said about the community versus family. In some ways, like, I always tell people the best thing about being diagnosed with a bleeding disorder is the family that comes along with it.
absolutely.
And it really is true. I mean, we use the word community a lot and we say, oh, we're community members, or we're, and there's this community that, we're all part of a community. But, in some ways, I think family in a way could actually be a more appropriate term, in the sense that
Yes.
we're kind of born into this and there's not
Sure.
a whole lot of getting out of it,
Sure.
but you can either make it healthy or not healthy. But I think that if you can have a family that is also communal, where you
Absolutely.
share and
Yeah.
you empower and you give and you serve, like you're talking about, well,
Yeah.
that's where the distinction falls between, we talk about this a lot around here around Hope, is
Yeah.
like that's where the distinction, we're not just here for any type of gathering or any type of community or any type
Right.
of family. We're here for healthy versions of that. We're here for
Absolutely.
healthy community, healthy family, healthy engagement, healthy
Yeah.
relationship. We talk about mental health a lot, but
Mhm.
emotional well-being is far too underestimated in all of this, that
Yeah.
you almost cannot be emotionally whole if you don't have family, community. We were built for that. We were created for a sense
Absolutely.
of
Absolutely.
interdependence.
Absolutely. And you've done that so well and so naturally over the years. And again, I think that even as we gather for this event, this is just not enough. This won't be another annual family weekend.
Hmm.
There's going to be something that's going to impact your life if you're coming and you're looking for it and you're coming willing to contribute.
That's good.
Oftentimes you get in a breakout session, you're thinking that you have to give the right answer, and that's not the issue. That's not what's important.
That's right.
What's important is that you share what it is that you're experiencing, right, wrong, or otherwise,
That's
because you're
good, Gilbert.
helping the person that there's a person that believes I have to have a right answer. That's not the right. That's not it. It's what
Hmm.
can I contribute? I have a saying that I got from John Maxwell that says everybody. So I would say everybody in the hemophilia community or the bleeding disorder community belongs to everyone that's in the bleeding disorder community. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
good.
So we have to pour into each other. There's something that I experienced. There's some victory. There's some challenge that I'm experiencing that I don't have an answer for. This weekend becomes the opportunity that gets resolved.
Yeah,
This event has been created for that specific reason. And
that's
so
so
you
good.
come not only to you're not yeah, you come, but this is not going to be this weekend. You'll never be able to recreate again.
That's so
And
good.
so let's come to give and participate.
That's so good. I wanna dive in here for just a minute, because one of the things that you and I have these conversations on the side, and I just, man, that if people only knew the amount of wisdom that you have, I think you would never have. You just have a phone glued to your ear all the time, because
Yeah,
it's just amazing. And you're an eternal young at heart kind of guy. I don't I It always amazes me. You just said your mom just celebrated her birthday, and so
yeah.
how old are you now, Gilbert? And then tell us
Okay.
how old your mom is.
Okay. So the great thing is that what my mom and I have in common is our numbers kind of go back to back. So except she's a year ahead of me. So my mom actually turned 97 yesterday.
Wow. Oh my gosh,
97
that's
years young.
awesome.
She is the most amazing person that I know. She's the only person I know that has probably won like about $80 billion on Jeopardy, because she plays Jeopardy every day and she wins most of the time. She doesn't use Google. She doesn't use any of those things. This is when you think about it. She's she's been on this planet for 97 years. She
Golly.
has seen a lot about the world that has changed and different, and she's been able to retain that.
Yeah,
And so I
strong, she's
find that,
healthy. You tell me
yeah,
stories that
she's
she's
on
still
her,
living independent. She's
yeah.
like shoveling snow off her driveway.
I can send you the video. She's
Yeah.
she I said, "Mom, would you let me?" And she says, "No." But she says that's the only way I can stay young, and it's the only way that I can stay
Yeah.
vibrant. She doesn't like technology. She doesn't like
Yeah.
technology because technology from her perspective, makes you lazy. She
Wow.
goes,
Mm,
she has a hard time with the remote for the TV because she really would love to change the channels.
interesting.
She does. She likes to go and manually touch and move things because
Interesting.
that then gives her, it doesn't allow her to atrophy. So
Interesting.
she's walking, she's moving, she's engaging her mind. She's a great thinker. And
We have a,
so
a lot to learn from that.
yes, yeah, yeah.
And so how old are you now?
I am I will turn 70 in July. So I'm
Wow.
69 years old.
You don't look a day over 79. I mean, it's
There you
just
go.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, it's just
It
it's shocking to me. You have bigger guns than I do. I mean, you're
is.
ripped. You're energetic. You have
Mhm.
obviously inherited good genes from your mom, but it's amazing to me how just how much energy you have. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I've heard through the years. I know you've talked about, you and I've talked about this before, but it's like you will only be as stable in life as and have as much wisdom as you have based upon the number of people you surround yourself with that have
Absolutely.
gray hair,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
so I look at I'm only
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I'm
probably have done
just
yours twice.
over the hill. Yeah, I'm starting to gray, here. But I just want to glean as much wisdom as I can from you because you've been down a
You're welcome.
road that you have seen a lot, you have learned a lot, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, just for a
Sure.
minute, is to talk about specifically about parenting because I always say you can only give away what you've received, and so I could want to give away a Corvette all day long, but if I don't own a Corvette, if I don't start with something, I can't actually distribute it, right? And so I have to be. I don't have a Corvette, by the way, but but the idea though is that I want to be able to, to be able to give what it is that's in my heart to give. And so, you've obviously received a heritage, a great legacy of impartation from your mom and your family, but you've also learned a lot through all the experiences in life you've had, and you have kids of your own. So tell us a little bit about your family. I don't know that we've ever talked about that on
Oh, wow.
these meetings before, but you're
Okay.
married. You've been married for a while.
Yes.
Talk about your wife, Marie, and
Okay.
the kids.
Okay. So I married a woman named Marie Antoinette. So off with her head kind of thing. But we've been married. This year we'll celebrate our 44th year of being married.
Wow.
Um, and I tell you, when I talk about the top people in my life that have made an impression on me, she's right up there at the top.
Yeah.
Uh, you see anything loving out of me? She loved me when I didn't love myself, and she
Wow.
saw things in me that I didn't see, and
Mm.
she made an investment in me with her love that eventually
Mm.
captured my heart and
Mm.
made me want to then believe that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Um, Let me tell you, now I didn't know what that felt like then. I know what that feels like now. I know what
Mm.
it feels like to be with someone who loves the bad stuff about you and still sticks with you.
Mm.
I know what it means to have someone who's willing, still even to this day, to tell you the harsh and hard things because that's what's in your best interest. I mean, all of this gray hair
Mm.
just means that I've also made a lot of mistakes that have caused that and said a lot of things. I definitely have a woman. If you've never met Marie Antoinette, then you have to meet her. She's one of a kind. But I would not be the man that I am if I didn't have a strong woman beside me, a strong woman
Yeah.
who loves the Lord and loves me enough to put me in my place, but then at the same time respects me enough to let me lead.
Wow.
So that has been the hallmark, and it didn't come that first year or that first 5 years. We went 16 years before we had a family, and we
Mm.
weren't able to have a family of our own. So we
Mm.
adopted. We
Mm.
adopted because Marie had a hysterectomy, so there was no chance for us to be able to have a family of our own. And so
Mhm.
because of that, we ended up um, having to adopt. And again, the interesting part of that story is she had a hysterectomy on April the 15th, 1994.
Okay.
I was actually asked by my pastor at church to preach on Father's Day that same year, which I thought was like that was the biggest travesty ever, because my heart's
Wow.
broken. I'm
Mhm.
not going to be able to see or experience or feel the same things that other men feel. Yet
Mm.
you're asking me to speak on a subject as if I already have that.
Mm.
And guess what happened? 9 months, 8 months after I preached that sermon, he gives me the desire of my heart, which were two kids, not just one. He gives me two at once, a boy and a
Wow.
girl. And they're both named, surprisingly. I named her Misha, I named him Michael, and their names are the same. So both
Mm.
both of their names mean the same thing, who is like God.
Mm.
And so we've had the experience of raising them. They'll turn 28 this year, but my daughter has struggled the most. And for any
Mm.
dad who has daughters, I mean, you could be okay with your son, but for your daughter to struggle through things is very, very difficult. And you
Mm.
question a lot of things about your life and
Mhm.
decisions that you made, and did you make the right one? And what was interesting for me was that I oftentimes would confuse that. I would always tell Misha and Mike, I mean, they know they were adopted. We never hid that from them. We told them from a young age that they were. But what was interesting was I would still tease them and say that, I remember when Marie was carrying you around and she had this big, huge belly and stuff.
Mhm.
But as my daughter got older, she struggled. She struggled, and she's still struggling with mental health challenges.
Mm.
But I have found where the community has really been what's made the difference.
Mhm.
To share
That's
that you're
powerful.
going through hardships with others and have them come alongside. Some will come along, some won't, but
Mhm.
have them come alongside you and not try to answer the question, but to say, I'll walk through it with you.
Mhm.
Has really
Mhm.
opened up a door, opened up an opportunity for us to do even more. Because now
Wow.
we can touch the lives of those who have children that are struggling with mental health challenges. And then we have
Mhm.
others who have stepped into our life that become a resource to us. So when I paint this
Mhm.
idea that everybody in the body, everybody that's in the community belongs to everyone in the community, that's the reason why. Is that
Mhm.
you're not what you're going through is not you'll find that you're not the only one that's asking that question.
And that's the value of events like this family education weekend event,
Absolutely.
for instance, where we get a chance to be able to get together, connect,
Mhm.
and we be able to share our stories with each other. And in that learning of, you might only hear one person say one thing that sticks out to you, but that one thing could be literally a thing that could set you on a
Absolutely.
course to really be able to
Absolutely.
really get through the next season of your life. And it could be incredibly impactful. It could be life changing, honestly.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
you bring up a good point about, I want to drill into this a little bit, because
Yeah.
Misha is just such a precious woman
She
now.
she is.
And so but one of the things, as she's struggled, I know that you've
Mhm.
had times where you had to choose patience when you really just wanted to, like, rush in and fix it, or you just wanted to over explain it, or you wanted to try to really, it's in our
Nail.
human nature for us to want to, like, fix it, right? And
Mhm.
so I want to zoom into this, because right now we have, in the bleeding disorder community, we have the largest number, and I think this is important for people to understand. We have the largest number of young adults living with a bleeding disorder right now on the earth today, right now, than we've
Mhm.
ever had in the history of bleeding
Mhm.
disorders.
Mm.
That's an amazing, interesting thing, because this is not only something that is uncommon for our community, but it is now we're starting to get into some challenges that I think more people are facing now. Again, we're still a rare community, right? We're
Yes.
still a
Yes.
rare uh, disease, if you will. But at the end of the day, like, I do think it's interesting. We're starting to broadly hear people face challenges of how to help people get out of the house, how to help people become independent, how to help their adult kids, not just, because one thing I watched my parents go through this. There's 10 years difference between me and my sisters.
Yeah.
I have two sisters, and so there's quite a gap there. But I was at college. I married before they were even through with high
Right.
school, and so there was just like we always joked about how like we got two different sets of parents entirely because it was just different.
Uh-huh.
Um, but nonetheless, though, is like I've watched so many friends and even my own family go through things that I go, okay, well, how do you help you don't stop being a parent when your child turns 21. You don't stop being a parent when your child turns 25. You don't stop being a
Right.
parent. They still need you.
Yeah.
And so, I do think it's important that we understand this, but as we're facing these challenges, I guess I want to zoom in on this one thing for you is I have watched you over and over and over again come up on these transition points where you really have maybe hopes and desires. You don't want your child to suffer or
Sure.
struggle,
Sure.
and yet you can't exactly always fix every problem either when they're
Yeah.
getting older. And so you
Yeah.
have to enable them to be able to and empower them and care
Sure.
for them,
Sure.
coach them from a distance. So how do you have the patience for that? I mean, I think when the kids are little, it's a whole set of challenges and then you add rare disease and complications and mental health and all of that. It's very, very difficult. But when you're talking about raising children that are older, it
Mhm.
can also be equally taxing, especially dealing with this mental health thing, because this can really, I mean, it will exhaust you to a point beyond what you're physically capable of. So my question is that how do you have patience in those times when you're fully,
Yeah.
at a place where you don't feel like you have patience anymore?
I think one of the things you have to come to the conclusion of is that you've done the best that you could do in raising
That's
them.
good.
Again, it's always interesting that you never have to teach a child how to be bad when they're born. They just come selfish and wanting their own way the whole time, and you spend their formative years teaching them a foundation by which they can live by. And so
Yeah.
you've got to believe in your heart that it's so important that you lay that foundation right for them. Uh, but as they grow, they're developing this mindset of what independence looks like. And most of the time, they think it runs contrary to what you say. And so, one of the things we had to accept with both Misha and Michael is when they reached a certain age and they began to do all these things that showed that they wanted to be independent was to uh, allow them sometimes to be if you think you're independent, especially like when they got to be about 18, is before then you're still trying to build the foundation or the framework. But once they turn 18, much of our conflict is because you're an adult and I'm an adult,
Mm,
you know? And so what you're experiencing, your ideas, your values are running contrary to mine. And when that happens, I mean, it could be a good thing,
mm,
because you're saying that I can take care of myself.
mm-hmm,
But I'm saying, as a parent, I'm saying you can't take care of yourself your way under my rules. They're
mm,
going to run in
mm,
conflict. So
mm-hmm,
sometimes I've got to be willing to believe that I've laid a good foundation and allow them an opportunity to go out and see if it actually works or not.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
and and the sooner I can accept that I've done that, it doesn't make the experience easy because you know when they start pushing back, they've set themselves up for a lot of difficulty
Yeah.
because the world isn't like that. We would often tell ours that, you're going to live under somebody's rules. It doesn't.
Right.
If
Right.
I came and lived in your house, based on what you believe, if I came to live in your house and I tried to live by my rules in your house, you'd put me out too.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
you know.
It's interesting because I think you're right. That's where the divergence of the wills become
Yeah.
even more present. and it's not always bad. I mean, I think that
No.
sometimes you said it right off the bat. You said sometimes it's a good thing is that you have to learn how to, I hear treatment center nurses talk about this a lot, is that they always say that there's a period of time for almost all adult patients living with a bleeding disorder that they come into a place where they want to rebel against the bleeding disorder.
Mhm.
It's not, they,
Mhm.
they want to say, well, I don't have it anymore. I don't have to treat, or I don't have to, and there's a period of risk where patients often lie. So some parents are, more scared of that than they are of the
Yeah.
kids doing
Yeah.
some, horrible thing. But it's like, I don't think that, I do think that the exercise of being able to quiet your own soul and be able to say, you know, we've planted some seeds there, and I love what you said. You started a good foundation. You got to remember that is that you
Mhm.
you got to remind yourself. I planted some good seeds here, and so l- let's see how these seeds now let the
Sure.
sunlight hit it. Let the
Sure.
soil resist against it a little bit. Let's see what blooms here on its own, and the rain and the hail and the storms and the wind are going to come, and
Yeah.
you really can't change
You
that, but
can't.
you just you
Yeah.
just have to let that grow. But one thing that I've learned, and I've watched you do this too, is that it's not just about you quieting your soul and being patient, but it's also about you returning, even maybe when there was times where they were attacking. And that's
Mhm.
I mean, that's
Mhm.
heavy. That gets hard
Mhm.
when there's like this. It's not exactly a, you want harmony within your relationships. You want
Right.
harmony within your community. You want harmony within your family. You want healthy
Sure.
relationships where there should be a give and take.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're dealing with, especially mental health
Mental health.
challenges,
Mhm.
sometimes the stress that people are under, it's of no fault of their own that they would respond like, out of just like this wanting to break out and trying to
Yeah.
fight, because fight or flight is something that that's part of our response mechanisms. It's not
Yeah.
it's not necessarily wrong, but the idea though is that I learning to return even when you haven't necessarily been invited.
Yeah.
That having the humility and the patience to be able to go back to, and that's the difference to me between being truly family versus just being a community. Because in a
Yeah.
community, you can have shared goals, you can have shared resources, you can have shared objectives,
Mhm.
but the moment that it gets too uncomfortable, you can unshare all of that, you know?
Mhm.
Whereas when you're
Mhm.
family,
Yeah.
you can try whether it works or it doesn't work, you're still in the same boat. So it's like you
Yeah.
gotta kind of figure out how to work it out. And learning as a parent, I know for me at least, my kids are young still. I mean, I have four kids, and my
Mhm.
oldest is 18, almost 19. So they're kind of going into this transition. But in this place, it's like being able to kind of push them out and say, you know what, even if we're in conflict about something, me being able to say, okay, go out and try it. It's okay. Go experiment with what you think you want to
Yeah.
experiment with,
Yeah.
and I'm still going to be right here on the sidelines, and
Absolutely.
learning to know when to step back in is key. But
Mhm.
that whole component of returning is important, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. You want to be in that place where when we recognize and they run into that obstacle, that they will see you as a resource that can help them kind of navigate through it, not answer it, not
Right,
answering it for you. Because if I
right,
answer it for you, then it's my plan.
right.
You need to come to the right conclusion on what's going on, so that you have to learn how to make those choices as an adult that are going to be beneficial for you and the circumstance that you find yourself in.
Yeah,
And it would be totally unfair. I can be a resource. I can be a sounding board. Again, I love my relationship with my kids now, even though my daughter's a lot further along, but she sees us as a resource now. When
that's
we
good.
stop enabling, when we stop trying to go in and resolve and say, you know what, we're all products of the choices that we make. And if we keep making it, every time I rescue you or I help you, that's me. I'm not allowing you to learn how to solve
Mhm,
this problem. This is your problem.
mhm,
This is not our
mhm,
problem.
mhm, mhm.
And the reality is, you have to start when you start feeling independence, then you have to accept that you're saying I can live my life without my parents. So if
Mhm.
my parents aren't here, how are you gonna resolve this if we're not here? Who are you gonna
Mhm.
call? Where are you gonna get
Mhm.
the help that you need? And that's
Mhm.
where, again, a weekend like this, we understand that there's a component of family, but when I have relationships within the community, I mean, the relationships that I have in this community that I've gained over these last years, I wouldn't replace with anything. I mean,
Mm.
I look more forward to the live events than sometimes the people that are coming. Just because it's Jonathan, it's like a reunion.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it's like, man, I
Yeah.
have not seen you, I haven't been with you. It's like, man, I don't want to sit in the exhibit hall. I just want to go hang out
Yeah.
and get caught up and see
Yeah.
where I can make a difference or how I can help or what things can I share that could benefit you and make the
Yeah.
quality of your life going forward better. You know, what
Yeah.
encouragement can I give you that would make a difference? What resources can I put in front of you that will help you in that situation with the hope that whatever you've learned, you'll share that with someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a tremendous amount of courage. Parenting is not for the faint of heart, and
Oh,
family is not for the faint of heart,
absolutely.
because there's always a temptation to become selfish in all of these things, and all of us do it every day. It's
Mhm.
not something that you can say, well, you're just going to be unselfish forever. You're
Mhm.
always going to have times where you're like, you just you need, but there's
Sure.
going to be other times where you can give, and to me, what I kind of the thread that I kind of hear throughout all of what you've said today is that there's this thread of love,
Yes.
right? Like you have to love yourself first enough to and love your life enough to say, you know what, I didn't choose this life. You didn't choose to not be able to have your own children by natural means, but because you had patience and you endured and you were patient through that. You loved your wife, you love the process, you love the opportunity of adoption, you loved your kids and you sowed seeds of love in them. And
Amen.
then at some point when things started to shift and you have all these challenges, you start to go, you know what, I'm gonna again choose to love myself first, but then I'm gonna love them even through the hard stuff. Well,
Mhm.
I've heard it said a number of times that the best definition of love is sacrifice. And
Absolutely.
I just think that there is no such thing as truly loving someone without sacrificing for them.
Yeah.
And if you can do that in your family, that's vital.
Mhm.
But to do it over and over and over and over again is hard, and it's
Mhm.
not for the faint of heart. But it is possible. It is within reach. It is within access. You just got to, and you got to birds of a feather, right? You got to
Absolutely.
get close to people who love you. That's why I love hanging out with you, because I'm like, man,
Mhm.
I just get inspired to love my own kids more because you and I have a conversation about all the
Sure.
challenges you've gone through and the things that you're loving your kids through. And I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, like,
Yeah.
I feel empowered because I know that if Gilbert can do it, Jonathan can do it,
Yeah.
and that's why I love these moments and
I know.
opportunities is because it's so inspiring.
You know what I use? I have always defined. It's probably even before I came to faith. I had a good friend in high school, and we were romantics, and so we thought that we could charm every woman that was on the planet. But one thing that we coined that I still hold on to today is this definition of love. That love is a commitment without a guarantee. That I
Mm,
choose to love not for the reciprocal value of it. I choose
mm,
to love because that's who I am. And whether you return it to me or not, I'm still going to give it to you. Whether it benefits me or not, it's not going to change. I'm going to love you. I'm going to be willing to even give my life. I'm willing to stand in front and take the bullet because that's who I am. And when you
mm,
can live your life from that perspective, and we know who all that comes from. I didn't know that when we coined that, but it truly is. It frees you.
mhm,
It frees you to do those things that don't. You're not look. I'm not looking for something in you.
mhm, mhm.
I'm really looking for an opportunity to let you know that you're a person of value to me, and
Yes.
you mean something to me. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like that. That I again, I love everybody, and I want to help as many people as I can with
Mm.
all the years that I have left.
It's so, so, so good, Gilbert, that I mean, oh my gosh, like it's that unconditional love where you
Yes.
literally, you know the Bible verse that talks about this is that no greater love
Goodness.
is there than you lay down your life for your friend. I mean, that what is beautiful about that is we use that in family context a lot,
Hmm.
but the Bible verse specifically speaks of a friend,
Hmm.
and there's this
Oh,
thing
no question.
about loving
Hmm.
the people in your life that's so important, and there's no greater love than he
Yeah.
that would lay down his own life for his friend. And I just I do believe it comes to that, is that there's nothing else in it for me. If
Yes.
I'm just loving just to love, and I do think that that's what makes family exceptionally hard, because you do
Sure.
become dependent upon each other at some point. You need each other, right? And so
Sure.
you get accustomed to getting something out of it
Yeah.
that does benefit you, and the moment that goes away, it's easy for you to want to pull back. And
Hmm.
that's true in parenting relationships, that's true in sibling relationships, that's true in
Hmm.
cousins, whatever it is, right?
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
it's absolutely true in community. It happens every day.
Yeah.
It's business partnerships fail all the time because of this, right? And
Right.
and so if we can stay focused on, and I think personal boundaries are important. I think you should absolutely have personal
Oh yeah.
boundaries, and I think
Oh
you should
yeah.
have healthy, things like that. But
Hmm.
this is the kicker: is that there's a difference between being abused and just not getting something out of it that you
Hmm.
expected. That's disappointment.
Hmm.
That's its own
Hmm.
animal. That's okay.
Yeah.
Disappointment's
Yeah.
okay, and
Yeah.
you not getting something out of it is okay.
Yeah.
But to love truly, don't call it love
Mhm.
unless you're going to love somebody without
Mhm.
expecting something in
Sure.
return.
You have to. Otherwise, it's not. It's a deal.
And
It's not.
that's where the sacrifice comes in, right?
Absolutely.
If you're gonna really
Absolutely.
love, you got to sacrifice. Man, you and I could talk about this and
Absolutely.
will probably, hopefully, till the cows come home, because I just love, 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 love
I do.
getting to
Do.
connect and fellowship at this level. But I just want to encourage people. If I know you're going to be hanging out in the exhibit hall with us, you're going to be getting a
Yeah.
chance to meet with people there, and so
Sure.
come hang out with us, because this is a great opportunity for you to get to know Gilbert better, and for you to have these types of conversations with you directly. But Gilbert, is there anything else you'd like to say before we go today?
You know, again, at the conference, I think we've got a breakout session. Our pharmacist is going to speak, and she's another one. She's a very, very high touch, white glove, touchy,
Yeah.
feely kind of person. She's funny because on our whenever we have a delivery on our assessment form, it always asks, would you like the pharmacist to call you? And everybody laughs when they do that, because she usually calls them before you call her. So it's like, why would you even have this on there if she's going to call me before I call her, kind of thing.
I love
But I
that.
love her for that, because she's that particular way.
I love
I
that.
think if I could share one last thing, it's
Yeah.
um, again, this weekend could change your whole life depending on what you bring to it. And while Jonathan says, you can find time to, you may not want to come to everything. Um, I think you should try to come to everything, because if I'm coming with a spirit to give rather than just receive, then you're going to find that you're going to make this event bigger and better. And as I said in the beginning, this is not just another annual family weekend. This weekend can change the course of history in such a way that we'll be talking about this 10 years from now. Were you at the event in 2022? That was a really, really good. That's what I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see you come and play a role in every session that's going on. speak into the lives of those that are in the exhibit hall. Let them know what your heart's desire is, so that we can improve the services that we provide to you. You're entitled. You deserve it. You deserve to
That's
be cared for. You deserve to be valued. You deserve to be loved. And
that's
so
so good.
please stop by our exhibit. If there's ever anything, I'm not asking for anything other than the opportunity to serve you. If you
I
do
love
that,
it.
you bless me beyond words.
That's so good, Gilbert. Well, thank you so much for being here. Big thanks to ASAP Pharmacy for sponsoring this event and this weekend. We truly couldn't do this if it wasn't for you guys helping us out where you do. And it makes a whole lot of really great moments, these moments for us to be able to connect with each other possible. So thanks for spending this time with me today and being a part of this. And love to see you very, very soon as we get into these sessions. And thank you so much. But what a great reminder today. Love yourself
Yes.
first so that you can
Yes.
love others too.
Amen.
So good. All right.
Amen.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
Wow, 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 wow. What an incredible opportunity to be able to connect about that. And Gilbert is such a great inspiration. I just love spending time with him. But look, if this is your first time even being a part of one of these moments where you got to listen into this and you think, gosh, I really want to get to know these people more. I want to get to hang out with Hope. This is a great place to be able to do it. It's a safe place to be able to hang out with us. And you can do that really, really easily by going right to our website and registering for this upcoming event called Family Education Weekend, which will be starting here in just a little bit. Hope-charities.org. You can go and register right there on the website. The event itself will kick off live on May 19th. And we will have a lot of great sessions that you will love and you do not want to miss. In each one of these sessions, we're going to be giving away gift cards and doing some fun games and having a lot of playful opportunities to be able to connect with each other. But you'll get a chance to meet other families that are going through living with bleeding disorders, as well as a whole lot of other things. So great opportunity to connect, and we don't think you want to miss 1 minute of it. These sessions are not recorded and stored for the most part. So for that reason, the only way to be able to get the information is to be able to participate. But also, we can do it right from your cell phone, right from your tablet, right from your computer. A lot of people maybe turn it on their device next to their where they're working at, and so you can do it right on your workstation. Or maybe you can't look at the video, but you can listen in, so you can put it in kind of like you'd listen to a podcast or something. So it's a great opportunity for you to connect with us in that way. And so we would love to see you any way that you can join us. It'd be great, but we'll send you the Zoom links individually, but you have to register to do that. So make certain that you go on the website and register right there for this free event, and we'll send you everything you need. It's one registration to get access to all of the sessions. You can also send us questions. If you have any questions, events@hope-charities.org. You can be able to ask any question that you might have in order to be able to, for us to be able to help you make certain that you have a great event and a great conference. And we'll look forward to connecting with you very, very soon. Again, my name is Jonathan James, and it considered a great privilege for you to be able to join me today, a part of this discussion. And it's been a fantastic time being able to see and hang out with you today. We certainly hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.